Welcome back. I'm Lisa and I'm happy to share the next few projects with you. Let's talk a little bit about embroidery. I found some really fun embroidery patterns for you today. So the first one is this Mesmerize and Fire Dance quilt. It's an embroidered quilt where the applique is all done with machine embroidery. And what kind of appealed to me about this pattern is it kind of looks organic to me. Like the shapes are not really uniform. It looks like something that might have grown organically into this finished thing, whatever it is. And there's two different patterns, the Mesmerize and the Fire Dance, and the difference between them is the stitches that outline each of those concentric circles. And so depending on which one you choose, you're going to get a different selection of decorative stitches that are around the outside of each circle. You do back your fabrics depending on one of the patterns in here calls for using silk organza and several other really fine fabrics that are very lightweight. And so it has you back those with shape flex to give them enough body to applique them on. For the one that I did, it has you back them with steam a seam light. And so you might remember, I think it was Kathy who used this at So Fun a while back, and if you bought a package and you're wondering what else to do with it, this pattern also uses steam a seam light. So I decided to make this into a table runner instead of a quilt and just do 4 of the big blocks. And because of the organic shape of these, I chose to do it with batik fabrics because that sort of lends itself to the shape and style of the design, I thought. So it was fun to kind of play around with the different batiks that I had and mix and match colors of thread to contrast with the colors of the fabric that I had. I also thought it was fun when I had these 4 blocks done to kind of turn them different ways so they weren't all facing the same way. So it really further enhances that sort of organic feel to this. This quilt pattern also gives you directions for quilt as you go. So if you want to do the blocks with the batting and the backing all on here, then there's directions for doing that. I chose not to do that because I was making the table runner. A couple of things I did is I used Thermore inside the table runner for my batting because I wanted it to be able to hold up well if you needed to wash it a lot. I also wanted it to not hold creases if you fold it up. Put it in your linen closet for 6 months and get it back out again. I didn't want it to hold the creases. And so Thermore is a great way to do that in something you don't want to have hold creases. It's a very thin batting. It sews up beautifully. Another thing that I did with this pattern is I wanted to have minimal quilting on it because there's so much going on with the concentric circles and the odd shapes of the circles and all the decorative stitches that are around each circle that is all different. I didn't want the quilting to detract. So I just quilted right inside the lines with clear filament thread. And so that's a great way if you haven't ever worked with that. You just need to lower the tension on your sewing machine a couple notches and experiment to make sure that that looks right. And you also want a smaller needle because the clear thread is very, very fine. So you want a smaller needle and lower the tension, and it worked great. I had no problems with it. And as you can see, you really can't see the quilting on here at all. All right, another fun project that is very timely because you could get this done in time to put it out in a couple weeks is this cute Kimber Bow America, Land That I Love bench pillow. And I kind of did some fun things and I learned some things in making this. This is my version of the bench pillow. And as you can see, it's not a pillow because I'm going to use this as a table runner because I currently don't have a place to put a bench pillow right now. And I might in the future, and if that's the case, I'm not going to quilt this like I would a normal table runner, but I'm going to use it on my tabletop. And then when I get a place to put it, I'm going to put a pillow form in here and use it as a bench pillow. But this is pretty fun. It has some fun features. There's different kinds of applique. There's piecing over here. And I used my fork pins when I was creating these pieced edges, and they worked beautifully to help me line up all those little points really nicely. And it has applique, and then it also has these three-dimensional pinwheels that you embroider out separately, and then you just glue them onto the front of here with fabric glue. And they really add this fun three-dimensional element to this pattern, this design. The other thing that I did that the pattern did not call for is I used the Kimberbell glitter sheet to kind of pizzazz it up a little bit. And I really like the little accents. I did that for these two stars and for one of the banners on the little pennant that is across here. I like the rickrack, and I just think this is super cheerful, and it will be really fun for June and July. A couple things that I found super useful in doing this is the anti-static spray. And I find that sometimes the embroidery thread statics itself to the sewing machine, it statics to the presser foot, it statics to itself. And so if you just give a little spray of this to the whole spool, it really helps cut down on that static. And so I found that really, really useful. But maybe one of my favorite things that I discovered this month is Hugo's Amazing Tape. I don't know if you've heard of this stuff, but it is pretty amazing. This is what it looks like. You get this roll of tape and it's clear and it's not sticky. There's no adhesive residue that sticks to anything. It only sticks to itself. So it cuts really, really easily. And you can even cut it long ways if you need a skinnier piece. But the thing that I love about this best is I'm using it on all of my spools of embroidery thread because I feel like the thread is so slippery and it really easily comes unraveled. And you just wrap this around and it sticks to itself. And so it keeps your thread all corralled on the spool instead of falling off everywhere. And of course you can use it over and over again because it doesn't have adhesive that's going to wear out. So it's never going to wear out. And what's great about these is because the little ring that goes on the bottom of these spools that you can wind your thread into breaks and comes off and then is not really good anymore. It never stays on there. So this solves that problem. Another great thing you can use this for is on wrapping paper rolls. Just wrap a piece around that, it sticks to itself, it doesn't damage the paper. Another great thing you can use this for is cards for a game. So when you have games that have cards of some kind and they're all in there, wrap this around a deck of cards and it holds them all in place. So there's lots of great uses for this, but my favorite use is on my embroidery thread, and I really love it. You may have noticed I have this really cool little pair of scissors that I used to cut my Hugo's Amazing Tape, and as we already discussed, you can never have too many pairs of scissors. But what's great is these are folding scissors. So they fold up and they are TSA approved because of the length of the blade. So you just fold the little handles up and they're super compact and they're easy to carry in your purse or your bag. They're great for carting around, and I cannot even tell you how many times I have pulled these out of my purse to cut something when you just need a little pair of scissors or something. And they're made by Fiskars, so they have a nice sharp blade. So these are a really great, useful little notion that I have really enjoyed. The stabilizer that they would like you to use for land that I love is this fusible no-show mesh. So when you're getting ready to embroider on here, you sew the border strip to each side of your main body fabric and then fuse the no-show mesh onto the back. And that makes it really useful because this is done in 3 different hoopings. And the Kimberbell disc gives you really, really good, clear directions on how to do those so that everything just lines up perfectly. The other great thing about this is it includes the SVG cut files. So if you don't want to sit and cut out all of this, you can just cut those applique shapes on your Brother Scan and Cut, and lickety split, you will be ready to embroider, ready to applique and embroider. So lots of great tutorials. It's really cute. It gives you directions for different hoop sizes, and I think you're going to really love this. My next project is the Oh So Simple Tote, and this is a really great tote to take for classes or things like that. Someone asked me if it was Halloween, and it's not Halloween. There's daisies on this black fabric, and this fabric has bees on it and a honeycomb on it. But this was super easy to make and super quick. It has long handles, so it can accommodate if you want to use it for like a class or something. You can carry a long ruler in here. The project also has directions for making a couple different zippered bags, all out of the same fabric requirements for the big bag. You can make this with the leftover pieces. And it uses this vinyl mesh. This is also known as like pet mesh. And it's super easy to work with. It cuts really easily, it sews really easily, and it has lots of structure and stability, which make this bag stand up, which makes it really useful. Another great feature of this bag is it has pockets on both ends and on the front and the back, and inside on both sides is a elastic pocket that will hold like a water bottle nice and tight in there, or anything else that you need to have standing up on the inside of your bag. The mesh is on the bottom as well, so I think this is going to be a very useful bag to carry around. So a quick and easy project also would make a great gift. Thanks for being here with us. We've had a lot of fun making these projects during quarantine. I hope you're sewing a lot of things as well. Remember that all of the products that we have for you can be purchased on our website or actually in the stores. So come on in and keep calm and sew on.